Great to have you join us on Capital Markets this weekend. I'm Temple Ashaju. Thank you very much for coming on board. It's really good to have you around. The Nigerian stock market slowed to a flat close on Friday amidst market reactions to earnings that trickled in during the week. That's the trading sessions that we had this week. The index nudged up, posting its best weekly performance so far in the year. And of course, this is not far from this earnings, because this is more like the best of times for companies since the Nigerian economy slipped into recession. But again, we had the Dangote cement earnings for the first quarter of the year released into the market as well. The first quarter report for that company saw the post-tax profits coming in at 71 billion naira, marking a 34% year-on-year rise and 36% ahead of market expectations. Unfortunately, the stock, which closed at 159 naira per share, lost 68 basis points, weighed down by losses preceding the earnings announcement on Friday. But during the course of the show this evening, we'll bring you more details on the performance of equities and other securities this week, but with focus, attention on some of the earnings that we saw trickling into the Nigerian Stock Exchange during the week. My guest is the Chief Executive at FSDH Securities Limited, Mr. Ikechukwu Duru. He'll be joining us much later on the program. Before we move to that segment of the show, let's open with some news, some real stories that we saw on the floor of the exchange and that shaped the investment decisions of investors and shareholders today. We'll begin with the NSE renewal of agreements with the London Stock Exchange. The Nigerian Stock Exchange and the LSE, London Stock Exchange Group, have announced the renewal of their Strategic Capital Markets Partnership Agreement. A statement from the Nigerian boss says the renewal extends the original 2-year partnership agreement between the NSE and LSEG, allowing the two exchanges to build on the progress achieved till date. First signed in November 2014, the Capital Markets Partnership Agreement seeks to strengthen cooperation and promote mutual developments between the two exchanges and support companies seeking dual listings on London Exchange and the Lagos-based stock exchange here. Now, Omoluabi Savings and Loan PLC is one of the active companies on the alternative board of the Nigerian stock market, taking advantage of the small and medium-scale opportunities in that sector of the market. The company was at the stock exchange yesterday to inform brokers of the plans to float an offer and to basically change its structure into a mortgage bank. I spoke again to the CEO of that company, the Chief Executive, Ayodele Olowokere, who talks about the plans to be able to actualize this latest objective of the public company. Let's listen to him.
Of course, we grew our income by over 42%. Our balance sheet size also grew by more than 25%. Loan and advances grew the book by more than 50%. And from a negative a loss position of 168 million in 2015, we were able to climb up to a positive a profit position in 2016. So these are things that manifested due to a lot of background work that we've done as management and the board that has helped us to drive the bank forward. So that's what has happened from the last time you saw us here and now.
So what informs the idea of this mortgage banking structure?
But before, we used to have it as a living spring building society, living spring savings and loan. During the recapitalization, I think the then board and the owners of the business thought, look, we have a lot of savings and loan and the microfinance bank in Osun State, maybe up to 50 or 60, but there's need to actually have an harmonized approach to provision and supporting the development of affordable housing within Osun State. And we also have a corridor we call our own corridor of interest. That is from Ogun State up to Ekiti State, Ogun State, Oyo State, Osun State, Ekiti State and Ondo State. Across that corridor of interest, we realized that we have only maybe one or two active. mortgage banking focused institution. So it was an opportunity for us to also come into the fray and operate. It's just a need, a fundamentally backed impetus that this is where we should be playing. We have thousands of microfinance and saving and loan institutions, and we have a few mortgage banks, and we still have the so-called 17 million deficit that have been carrying over since 2003. It's like a moving target. So there's a need for it, and we're trying to fill that need.
Have you got any expansion plans enough to reach out to your shareholders that are concentrated as well in Lagos?
What we're trying to do this year is we're going to the market to raise additional funds. By that, we'll grow our balance sheet. It will give us the ability to do bigger transactions and to be able to give more mortgages and to be able to serve our customer the more and build better infrastructure. Secondly, it will allow us to register ourselves and be a national PMI. As a national PMI, of course, we will have footprints in Lagos, the normal suspect, maybe in Ogun, maybe in Oyo State, as organized footprint, then in Abuja as well, if the opportunity is there. So that is the way we see expansion. But much more importantly, we also want to build infrastructure in terms of information technology, our IT hand, so that we'll be able to reach further hands. And even people in diaspora can say, oh, I have this opportunity, I want to buy a home for myself, can I get a mortgage? And they are potential customers for us. So that's the way we see expansion.
And what mode will this public offer take?
It's going to be a public offer. We, first of all, focus on retail end, shore up the shareholder base, make it broader by bringing in a lot of more people, and also deepen it on the other end by also working with some strategic investors. We already have some people showing interest. And so that from both ends, deepen it and broaden it. So that's our plan for this offer. Of course, it's not our initial entry into the market, so it's just like another public offer for us, maybe with some bit of special placement in it.